your host, Efiasewa Mansa. And today, I am so glad that we are going to discuss a very important yet sensitive topic. And you will understand why I said so. With me here I have Madam Joyce Osafotechi. Madam, good evening, and you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Love your smile. I hope your day was good.
It was.
That is good. We thank God.
Thank you.
Another host guest that I have, Pastor I.K. Donko, is a ministerial secretary at the Meridian Conference. He's also a psychologist. Sofo, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Tell me, I hope on the motorway was safe.
Well, it was safe. A little traffic, but it was safe by the grace of God.
Well, we thank God for that. On this note, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I will tell you why today's topic is so sensitive. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching.
Gilead SD Church presents Gilead Bible Week with Pastor Alex Ejapon. A week where we open the Bible. A week where we listen to God through His words. The date is 17th to 23rd July 2022. The time is 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. each night. Theme, Open My Eyes. Live on Hope TV Ghana and also streaming live on all our social media platforms. Let's open the Bible together.
We want to defy our family's decision and get married or elope. I need advice. What should I do?
Please, what should I do?
How do I tell her I cheated on her months ago? I need help. What should I do?
Okay, so for me, the moment I read the story, the first thing that came to mind was, wow, knowledge is indeed power. Sometimes we go through situations because we have no knowledge of how to go about them.
If you come from a home like that, you are likely to accept anything the outside that would, direct us.
The fact that we had an interesting ceremony where a priest prayed and all of that doesn't mean that magically I've turned into something else.
If he finds his way to God, a Bible believing church, and he goes and he wants to change, nothing is
he giving
impossible.
His properties to charity and stuff?
Oh no, why? Okay, I think this is another discussion that we will not end today, so we'll not even go into it.
Real Talk, showing this and every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
You are welcome. And thanks so much for not leaving the dial. Thanks so much. And as you remember, I guess you were able to invite your friends to join us. Yes, today's topic is so sensitive because we are discussing life after losing a partner. That doesn't sound too good. Yes, life after losing a partner. But there is this that we always say. We are so glad when we have a newborn baby, but We are so sad when we are departing or we are losing a dear one. On this note, this journey called death, which we all go through one day, death is inevitable. One day, we all go through this, either losing ourselves or our partners. But we know that as Christians, when the trumpet sounds, one day you will see our dear ones, our lovely ones. So today, we are discussing this topic, losing a life partner. How is it like? Call that friend to join and listen and share and take courage and lessons from this. Thanks so much for standing by. Now, I would want to go straight to my special guest, Auntie Joyce. Tell me something about yourself.
Well, as you introduced me, I am Joyce Osafotechi. I have 2 siblings, all males. I'm the only girl. And I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. And I am a teacher.
Very wonderful. She is a teacher. And a very smart one, of course. Pastor, tell me what you do, please. I know you're a pastor. Tell me what you do.
Yes, I'm a pastor. Number one, currently, I occupy the position of Executive Secretary at Meridian Ghana Conference. I have pastored for the past 20 years. I have talent and take interest in music, but I have skills and another profession as a counselor. So for the past 20 years, I have been in the business of counseling both church members and non-church members. That is Pastor Ike Donko.
Wow. Then, Pastor, today's job, I know you are going to break it well for us. We need it in times like this. Auntie Joyce, tell me, how long did you live with him?
I lived with him for about 2 years. Yes.
You mean 2 years?
2 years.
How,
2 years.
How
Yes.
old were the children?
My last child, the girl, she was a week old. Exactly a week.
Tell me, what are some of the fun memories you remember about him?
I will say everything. We didn't stay for that long, and we didn't court for so long before we got married, because I traveled outside the country 2005, and I spent 8 months, and I came back in 2006 March, and we got married in July. So it was about a year. And before I went, I had seen him for about 5 months before I traveled. And so when I came, it was about 4 months, and we got married.
So roughly how many years did you live with him?
2 years. We got married in 2006. And he passed on 2009.
So what really do you remember about him that you miss it so much?
I am quiet, but he's more than me. But he will always make you smile. I mean, make you laugh.
Wow.
when you're around him, yes, you feel his presence. And you know, it wasn't for so long. And so we didn't have those, should I say, all those up and down things in marriage that we've been hearing. It was all fun. I should think we were yet to experience the other side in our marriage, but it was all fun.
So how old was the first one then? Because you said the last one was
A week old.
The first
2 years.
2 years. Now how old are they?
The first one is 15 years now, and the second one is 13 years.
A wonderful woman.
Thank you.
Now, you've shared with us how it all happened, but let me know, how did it happen? What happened?
I was in the Ashanti region.
Okay.
I was in the Ashanti region, and that is where I met him. And so anytime I am about to give birth, I come to Accra, where my parents are, to come and give birth. And so I came. Like the first one that I did, I came the second time too. And he was through with his master's and he needed to graduate. So it was during that week that he should have graduated. And so I came and I gave birth. So that week, I think when I gave birth, the following day, I called him the following day, and he could hear the noise in the hospital, and I just wanted to give him that surprise that I've given birth. So quickly he said he'll be coming then. That is the following day.
Yes.
He will come around and go back to graduate. But then the following day in the morning, he called that he wasn't feeling well. So he's gone to the hospital and they've prescribed some medication, but he's not feeling so well, so he couldn't travel. So he will come when he's better. And then I think the following day, that is 2 days after he informed me, he told me he has been admitted at the hospital. And so he will come, but yes, I should still hold on. And we were communicating. But then exactly a week, I was at the hospital. I was calling. We were communicating at all times. So at the hospital, I called him the previous night. He couldn't pick. So in the morning, it was time for the baby to go and have her injection.
Yeah.
The first injection. And so I called that I had come to the hospital, but anytime I call, no one was picking the call. And so I was doing my own thing in the hospital. And I went there with my kid sibling. And I think at another time, still at the hospital when I called, it was the pastor, my husband's pastor, who picked up the call. And I was surprised for him to pick my husband's call. And so he told me that, he was still in the hospital, he was taking his bath. Well, that's no problem. And so I had my own thing. But I saw that anytime my brother had a call, he would just move away from me. And before then, I could see that my brother's boss had come there. I didn't know, but he said he was passing and he decided to come around.
Whilst at the hospital?
At the hospital.
Okay.
To say hello to my brother and greet me and go. Not knowing it had happened earlier. And they had called my brother. And so, he also called work that he couldn't come. And just to sympathize with him, they came around. All that I didn't know anything. And so we finished, and I was complaining that I've been trying to get my husband, and I wasn't getting him. And the surprising thing is that the last call, it was the pastor who picked. And so, I was questioning, why should a pastor pick someone's call? Yes. But then we went home, and can I continue?
Yeah, continue.
We went home, and yes, daddy, mommy, they were there. And I don't like food, if I should say so. Yes,
Yeah.
but then, yes, they've prepared granule soup. Then come and eat all that. I mean, pushing me, eat. I said no. I need to take my time.
Yeah.
Yes, to eat. But then I expressed concern again.
Okay.
I've been calling, but the demeanor of my father was not all that good, but not my mother.
Okay.
And so seriously, I was questioning. It was all about calls. It was then that no, I said, something is happening. I don't know, but for me to think about my husband going, no. Far from that. But I could sense that there was something wrong. But what exactly? No. And not from my husband, no. So, well, I decided not to eat until they tell me something. I don't know. But I decided there and then and I'm saying my father broke down. My father, they were so close.
Yeah.
My father broke down, and they had to sit me down, and before I realized, my headmaster was also, I mean, from Kumasi
to Accra.
Yes, he was also there. That was how I got the news.
So sorry.
Thank you.
Pastor, now listening to Auntie Joyce, look at the time it happened. Normally, what are some of the things that might or would have happened to her? Looking at the time, a woman who has just delivered, waiting for her husband to come around and hearing this message. Normally, what happens?
I'm short of words, but indeed, such is life, and it's the reality. 2 years was short a time to experience that. So sorry.
Thank you.
But we thank God that today you can smile.
Yes.
You can talk and to give courage.
Thank you.
To others. That's so beautiful. Seriously, the death of a spouse or losing a spouse through death is one area that one can experience serious trauma. The other one could be lacking to divorce, but for death, the trauma is so huge that if you do not control or manage the grief and the sorrowing very well, it could lead to other complications and even to death. It has happened to several people, and that is what makes it so serious and so severe on her case. I could just feel it even right now.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at the situation she found herself in,
Yeah.
right from labor,
Yes.
still in pain, and will have to endure a second pain. It wasn't an easy thing. It wouldn't be easy. In our culture, we have a very nice way of relating the information to the one who has lost the spouse. And I think listening to her, the family did very well to bring significant others.
Yes.
Those who matter so much. The headmaster, the boss of the brother, the father, the mommy, and people of such caliber.
Okay.
It was a very good intervention and a very good thing they did, so that when the news is broken, seeing them around could be some sort of comfort that there are people important to you who cares. For which reason some have even traveled far away from Kumasi to come and show sympathy. So it was, for me, it was well managed. The way the information came, that was exactly what should be done. And it's very therapeutic. So in the question that you've asked, if not for the well-structured way of relating the information, anything could have happened. And I think we want to thank God for that intervention. So today we can have her among us here, so we can share these experiences.
Auntie Joyce, when the news was finally given to you, what happened? Narrate something to us. What happened?
It was tough. It was difficult. I just couldn't believe. I just couldn't understand. But it had happened, and it wasn't easy, as I'm telling you now. Because I locked up myself in a room. I was with my baby in the room. I locked up. I had to cry. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But yes, I did it for a time, and I thought there were other people around, and it was because of me that they had come. So I had to come out again and be with them.
So what happened before the funeral? I want to see what happened before the funeral, then the day after. What happened?
And so I had someone there, one of my students that I was communicating, and the family, I was communicating with them about, what really happened to him. Because whilst at the hospital, I detailed someone to be sending him food and all that. So what really...
A caring wife.
What really happened, because all that he told me was he had headache. And it was all about headache. And so I was communicating as to what should be done. But my parents were in charge, and my sibling. I said sibling because my kid brother was around. The elder one is not around. And so it was my kid brother who stood in to do everything. We went there to officially inform them, our tradition. So they did that, and they also came around to look at me and
you mean the family members of
my husband? Yes, they also came around, and it started on how preparations should start and all that.
In all this, what were your expectations from your church members, your neighbors? Were you looking for special expectation? Something different that you think they should give you that you didn't receive?
My husband was not an Adventist.
Okay.
He wasn't an Adventist. And so with the marriage, we know our doctrines and all that. And so the church was not so much into it. But then after marriage, he was going to his church once a while. I'll go with him. Once a while, he will also come with me. And I fellowship at where we are now. And I had gone to live at Kumasi for about 8 years. But immediately this thing happened, I came back to Accra. I decided not to be there because I was with him there. And the memories and everything. And I didn't have any family there. So I decided to come here. And so the church, rather, it was my husband's church that was so much into everything.
That's good. Pastor, I am glad he's saying that he had to relocate. What are some of the strategies that we can adapt when we go through things like this to bring us some form of relief?
You know what? If you wouldn't mind, let me recap what she just said she went through.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Which is very normal with people who go through such experiences. Okay. Dr. Dag Heward-Mills summarized these stages in a very simple way. We have 8 stages that one will normally go through when you experience loss of, a spouse, especially through death. The first thing you receive is shock, a serious shock, because you did not expect such a thing will happen. So that shock will come, hit you so hard, okay, and it will seem to you like a dream, and it is the first stage. Now, after going through shock, you move on to the next stage, which we call it dream stage. Sometimes you want to deny that it is not true. No, it cannot be true. This is not happening to me. No. And then it happens for a while, and you expect that you wake up. And after a while, when you are not waking up, then you come to yourself or your senses. When you get to know it is real and not a dream, then you begin to experience some kind of fear in you. Now, this fear will come with dilemma. Hey, how do I cope with this situation? The grief and all that. Secondly, how do I cope with life? With this little baby and the children, how do I cope with it? So even while you are grieving and even do not know how to manage the grief, you also have the responsibility to also think of how you can manage life. And that comes with fear. After the fear, you move on to another stage, which is guilt. You begin to assess, is there something that I needed to do that I did not do, for which reason this death has occurred? Or is it my fault? Or what? You begin to have that guilt. Should I have been with him there? Why did I even travel to Accra to give birth? Maybe I should have stayed there. Whatever. You begin to think through and you have that guilt. Now, after going through this one, that is the 4th level, you move on again to what we call hurts. When you have guilt, a severe one, the result is hurt and pain. Now you begin to have ache. Some people will have severe headache, will have stomach and physiological challenges when they go through that level or stages. Now, after this, you also sometimes will go through what we call anger. Why me? Why should it happen to me at this time for just 2 years? Why? And you begin to question. Sometimes you question God. Why should God allow this thing to happen? Why should it be me? And that stage. Now, if you are able to manage these 6 stages very well, then of course, you begin to accept the situation. And when acceptance begins to come in, then your system begin to reverse all the physiological, experiences that you're going through. You begin to receive what we call relaxation, and you begin to become normal. When it happens that way, healing begin to come or be restored. So basically, people go through these stages when they lose, their spouses or loved one.
Yeah.
So I am not very much surprised when she said, when the news was broken,
She had to lock herself up.
Yes.
I was in total denial.
Yes.
Wow.
I was in total denial.
Wow.
And as you said, with the questioning,
Mm.
it came. It came, yes, directly to God.
Wow.
In actual fact, that was going to be my next question. I was going to ask how you saw the God factor in all this. How were you asking the questions? Were you thinking God left you in the middle of the Red Sea or what? I just wanted to know that aspect.
When I decided to get married, I had people from the secondary school and even the university. So Joyce can also get married, because I wasn't into that. As I said, I met him for some few months and I traveled. And when I came, it was barely 4 months and we got married. And so people were surprised. So Joyce could also get married, because I quite remember I had a mother and nothing. I said, hey, Joyce, I thought with you never marry you. I said, well, that is how it is. And so with this thing coming in, seriously, I asked so many questions.
What were some of the questions?
Yes, the why me?
Yes.
The why me, because when I traveled, I had the opportunity to even get married over there.
Yeah.
There was someone who was seriously pushing, had arrangements with my brother and everything. I said, Joyce, forget about Joyce. She will not do it. I know my sister. And so this thing, so it came. Why didn't I even stayed back? Why didn't I get married over there? I thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I thought I have preserved myself, and this is what will happen to me. And seriously, and I saw that the more questions I asked, I wasn't getting any answers, and I was frustrated.
Yeah.
I became frustrated, and I think I was stressed up during that time, because I still needed answers. And so there were times that I would sit up, mommy was coming to me to be with me in my room. I told her I didn't need her, because I was waiting I just wanted some time alone, so that whether I could see him or God, something, so that
telling you
we
something.
could talk.
Yeah.
We could talk, because it was always crying. And I am somebody, I keep to myself a lot. I keep to myself a lot. And I should think that was also something that really affected me.
Okay.
I couldn't come out so much. I couldn't. I mean, my friends were my parents and my siblings.
Yeah, because I was going to ask what's the role of friends, and then because I asked that of the church, but I couldn't get much information. Pastor, I'll come to you on that. As I was looking for the role of friends, but as you are saying, you are somebody who do not keep friends so much. So it means that you could not get the support from friends.
I did. My students that I taught.
Okay. Some were your friends?
Yes. And I realized that when my husband passed, and I'm telling you, I've stayed with about 3 or 4. They're all nurses now.
Oh, okay.
After that, they stayed with me. They decided to come and take care of the baby and all that. I mean, coming in and out, they saw that it was mommy, daddy, and myself, and no one else. And so they came around once a while, and virtually they relocated to stay with me.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
So they were there.
Okay.
And now they are my sisters. I call them my children. They refer to me as mommy.
That's good.
And they were there. My friends were also around.
That's good. That's good. Pastor, when Auntie Joyce was talking, she made mention of the fact that the husband's church were there to support. I don't know if I should say, unfortunately, she's an Adventist, but I don't think she got much support from the church.
Please let me come in.
Okay.
The support came from SDA, but because I had moved to
Look,
Accra,
to Accra.
and so they just couldn't.
Okay. All right.
So if I had been there, maybe it would have been
maybe it would have been
different.
different. What support do we normally give to people like that in the church?
Yes, I thank God she really cleared the way so much, because I know the Seventh-day Adventist Church is one church that is so caring and so loving. In as much as we do not support very much getting married to non-Adventist, even when the person decides to do so, we offer the needed support. Now, when one passes on, especially a loved one, a spouse for that matter, the church has a responsibility of making sure that we keep the one who has lost the spouse in a situation where she can regain that consciousness of being belonged. Okay. Now, in the church, we have the women ministries. If it is a woman who has lost their husband, we have women ministries department, elderly women that are so much dedicated, who will get closer to make sure they offer services to keep the person alive until every arrangement of the barrier is done before, she is left to do whatever she wants to do. And the church is very proactive in offering that services. Whether you have people, family members or not, we still will want to also come in to give our support. Like she said, she holds membership here. The incident happened there. The man was there. But in this situation, I am very much sure you did not go back. Your parents are here.
Yes.
Sure. And I'm very much sure that even the church over here did not really leave her alone. I want to believe that if they were really informed and they were aware of it, no matter the situation, the church will do its best to making sure that what we need to do, we've done that. We have a process and a procedure when one loses a spouse, what we do and the kind of support we give to, whether the person is Adventist or not, we still offer such services, and the responsibility we have to making sure that we treat our member with the needed respect and love. So for the church, we are very much concerned, and we apply every principle. In fact, when maybe we're looking at how to look at solving these challenges, maybe I'll combine both psychological strategies and biblical strategies together, and then we can really take care of that.
Okay. That's Joyce. What were some of the psychological messages or advice that you got from people? Either do you have a professional psychologist taking you through this, or it was your mother, or how was it like?
I didn't get any professional psychologists. It was all the people around, the family, the friends.
But did you think that whatever they were telling you were meaningful at that time?
They were. Maybe I decided to shut my ears to all that. But yes,
They
yes,
were.
yes, they were.
Okay.
They were meaningful.
Very meaningful.
Yes.
So, how did it? What about the baby? How were you managing that situation with the baby as well? Breastfeeding, because it had to eat right, get some breast milk for the baby. How were you doing that?
And so 3 months, I stopped.
You mean you fed up to
3
3
months,
months?
I stopped.
Was it because you had to go back to work?
I stopped because I needed to work on my transfers.
Okay.
I needed to do so many other things. And so most times I was out there working on my transfer. And even before we could bury my husband, I had to go for promotion interview. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. How do I do it with this baby? And so 3 months I stopped so that I could go to work on my transfer, because sometimes you had to spend about a week in Kumasi to do other things.
Yeah, I wanted to know how you were coping after the burial.
In terms of
mobilizing yourself, forging ahead, what were people doing for you? Or were you left alone now that the person has been buried? Do your thing. Or how was it?
No, as I said, I had these my children with me. And so sometimes traveling back to Kumasi to work on things like those and everything, they were with me, because mommy had to also take care of the other small one back home. And so, yes, it wasn't easy. So sometimes I go with them with the baby at the back, going to the office, because they needed to know why you needed that transfer.
Wow.
At first they just wouldn't ask you to or accept your reason, just the reason. So if you are going because of this, they needed certificates, they needed, concrete proof that this is what is happening, or this is what you've gone through. And so that is why you are asking for that before you be released. And so it wasn't that easy. But all in all, those in Kumasi, they willingly do it. But then the thing is, you should also get an assurance from a school before.
In Accra.
Yes, before you go there. And that was also a challenge. That was also a challenge.
Well, my lovely viewer, if you have just joined us, we are discussing on hope, love at home, and we are discussing losing a life partner, the way forward. Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to know some of the strategies to go through when things like this happen to us. Please stay tuned, and remember to invite your friends. Thanks for watching.
My dear friends, you've been listening to me for some time. Growth Channel created a forum for me to talk about my life, my marriage, my ministry, my parenting, and many calls came that I should put it in a book form. This is the book. It talks about my childhood, my secondary education, my education in general. It talks about my marriage, how I became a Seventh-day Adventist, how God called me into the ministry, what the Lord has used me to do in 42 countries, how many campaigns I have conducted, my parenting, and what my children are today. And appealing to you to have a copy. It's only 20 CDs, and it is going to help you a lot. So try to get a copy. Get a copy for a brother, a sister, or a friend. It is good for students, for pastors, for parents, and for church members. I wish you well. You will enjoy reading it. God bless you.
I'll stand. Hallelujah.
We want to defy our family's decision and get married or elope. I need advice. What should I do?
Please, what should I do?
How do I tell her I cheated on her months ago? I need help. What should I do?
Okay, so for me, the moment I read the story, the first thing that came to mind was, wow, knowledge is indeed power. Sometimes we go through situations because we have no knowledge of how to go about them.
If you come from a home like that, you are likely to accept anything the outsider would, direct at.
The fact that he had an interesting ceremony where a priest prayed and all of that doesn't mean that magically you have turned into something else.
If he finds his way to God, a Bible believing church, and he goes and he wants to change, nothing is
Is he giving his
impossible.
properties to charity and stuff?
Oh no, why? Okay, I think this is another discussion that we will not end today, so we'll not even go into it.
Real Talk, showing this and every Wednesday at 8 p.m.